Welcome to the Success Journey Show. Let's travel together through the lives of individuals on the road to success.
Hey, what's going on, travelers? Ricky Ventures and Marlon Madden, and we're back with you for another episode of the Success Journey Show. What's going on, Marlon? How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing well. Ricky. How are you doing, first of all?
Man,
Tell the truth.
My back, man.
Shame
my
the
back
devil.
Have we recorded since my back has been hurt? I don't think so.
No, we haven't. No, because we didn't record
no.
last night. No,
that Monday we recorded that. That Monday we did. Monday night we did. Yeah, well, my back is still hurting, guys. It's still went to the doctors past Sunday, and they prescribed me some stuff, and it's not easing up as much as I thought it would, even with the stuff they prescribed. So it's
they gave you anti-oldness. That's what they.
I know, right? That's what I needed, man. So. Yeah, I just been struggling with it, man. I was telling Marlon that you start getting through all those feelings like, man, am I ever gonna be able to walk again? Am I gonna be able to?
I don't
want
to age like you guys.
Yeah, like, come on, man. I want to be able to go back and start working out again, man. I want to exercise. I feel like, man, come on. Came off this juice cleanse and I just been sitting down ever since,
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta get back at it. So it's a yeah, I'm in pain. So yeah, I'm once we get off of this tonight, then I'm gonna jump into the bed. Put some stem stuff on there for a little bit, do some stretches and take some medicine and try to just rest, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. You know, Rick, one thing before we start the show, it's a great show too. It's very informative. So, hey, you're not gonna be, we're not telling you 5,000 jokes. It's very informative. So we want you guys to sit down and take your pen and pad and do that. But before we do that, Rick, we bought another property. We bought another Success Journey Show, bought another property.
Yeah.
So now we're insuring this thing, right? And let me tell you something about these insurance companies that I think they need to get exposed. So they're like, hey, Mr. Madden, I see that you had over the last 3-4 years, you had this many claims. I don't know if we're going to be able to insure you. So I say,
what?
So if it rain, you're an insurance company and it rained and my house flood and I made a claim, correct? That's one of the ones you're seeing? Yes, Mr. Madden, correct. Okay. My house in North Carolina, there was a windstorm. And as a result from the windstorm, I made a claim, correct? Yes. Okay, in my house in Florida, there was also a storm that came through. And that was the reason for the claim. Yes, we see it all right here. And you guys are complaining that I have insurance and I'm using it the correct way. Oh, we just wanted to know why to make the claim. But you're able to see why the claims were made.
Yeah.
These guys just don't want to, like these companies, man. Somebody got to. A lot of times when the government don't regulate companies, man. Some of y'all got to get regulated because it's just stupid. What happened is that they don't want to pay out when they got to pay out when a natural disaster happens.
Yeah, they just want to keep your money.
That's it. So you want me to pay insurance for? Think about your car, right? You'll have your car, and if you get a nick, you'll be like, yo, man, I don't want my insurance company to. You pay for insurance.
You're paying for it.
You're paying for insurance for your car, and you're like, yo, unless my car is totaled out, man, I ain't calling them. That's how they have you thinking now, just because they don't want to, the service that they advertise, they don't want to produce on that service.
Dude, it's just like we had our guest out here. I shout him out. I think it's Galen O'Hare.
Yes.
Owner of the insurance. Insurance Claim HQ. Yep. Owner of Insurance Claim HQ. He said the same exact thing. You can follow him on Insurance Claim HQ on Instagram. Same exact thing. Like, they want to collect your money, but when it's time to really support you based off of what you are, what you're paying for, we're gonna have to increase your your insurance.
Yeah. No, they're saying that, well, we don't know because you're kind of like a liability. I'm like, liability what? For the natural disasters that happened that I had to claim? There were windstorm and floods that you came and paid out because you saw that it was justified. But now you want to.
Oh, man.
And what happened is not that the same company, it's another company pulling all your other claims that you ever had in the system.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness, man.
These guys are funny, man.
Yep. That's how it is for you. So, but yeah, we digress. We'll jump. Let's jump right into the show. We, always want you to remember sponsors: Hit Doctor, MD, prescribing healthy and powerful swings. Have our elite swing trainer that's out there, and man, we're really excited about what it's doing. Please reach out to us if you want more information. Check out our website, thesuccessjourneyshow.com. And guys, we're excited about bringing this episode to you. So stay tuned, listen, and let us know. Give us some feedback. All right. Peace.
Hola.
You've been listening to the Success Journey Show. You can check us out on our social media on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Also on our website, thesuccessjourneyshow.com. Enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, travelers, we are at our favorite segment of the show where Marlon and I get the honor and the privilege to talk to one of our esteemed guests and, get their story, their journey captured and shared with all of you around the world. So today we have none other than Scott Bollwage. Thank you so much, Scott, for joining us. I'll make sure you guys got that right. Scott Bollwage.
No, you did not get it right.
I think it's got
That's perfect. No, perfect. That's perfect.
It's perfect. Yeah. Come on, Marlon. Couldn't try to mess me up, man. Oh, come on, Scott. Did I get it, man? I get it. Did I get the last name pronounced right?
You got it perfect.
Oh, right. Good.
I try to get him. I try to get him.
Listen,
Scott, you
man.
should have went with me, man. You should have been like, bro, my last name is
Hey.
Smith, man. What's wrong with you?
Listen, my confidence level on that stuff is probably at like a 20%. And I just throw it out there. Even though I asked, I throw it out there like, oh man, I hope it's right. So once a little ounce of doubt comes in, thanks, Marlon, I'm sitting there questioning myself. So, but anyways, guys, Scott is here with us today. We met Scott a little while back, man. Phenomenal individual doing some great things in this world for our youth, young adults. And we are so honored to have him on this show. Thanks, Scott. Thank you so much for joining us today.
And it's an honor for me to be on here. After talking with you guys a while back, when I talk to people at our camps, everybody says, why don't you come out and speak to our group or this or that and everything else, and nothing ever follows through. So I'm really happy that this one of all things has followed through and we're able to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Well, Scott, why don't you start off by sharing with our travelers? We call them travelers around the world. We call them travelers because they're on a journey, right? And everyone that's on a journey, it's a course. There's ups and downs. There's left and rights. There's people that travel with you a certain distance, and then there's others that pick you up and carry and walk with you further on in life. So why don't you share with them just a little bit about yourself?
Okay. So, born and raised in Trenton, New Jersey. And, one thing that early on, I always knew I wanted to be a basketball coach. I can maybe look back to fourth or fifth grade as to when I knew I wanted to be a coach. I didn't know what level, high school, college, NBA, whatever. I didn't know what level I wanted to coach. I just wanted to coach. So funny thing about a journey, and I was thinking about this earlier, when I was graduating college. So I'll show my age a little bit. When you applied for things, there was no emails yet. There wasn't stuff online, you literally had to put your resume, on that good resume paper. If you
Yes, sir.
that
I
resume
remember.
paper.
Yep.
And then you had to, cover letter everything and put it in the mail, go to the post office, send it off. And, that's how you did it back then. So when I was, my senior year, I'd go, I think it was like every Thursday, I'd go on the NCAA website, see what jobs were available and what jobs were posted. Wow. And then I'd apply. And one day I go to the post office and the woman at the post office says to me, I really do hope you get one of these jobs. She had no idea what I was doing, but I was there every Friday religiously sending out my resume. And after all of that, I didn't get any job I applied for.
Wow.
So then when I get home, I'm not even home 10 minutes. And my dad says, put on a golf shirt, go to this camp up at the College of New Jersey. There's somebody that's looking for an assistant coach. So did that, go up there, talk to the guy who was assistant coach at Chowan College, which is now Chowan University in Murfreesboro, North Carolina. So go up there, give the guy my resume, everything. I don't hear anything. And then I get a call in, I think it was like around September, that they still had an opening. So I go down there, drive down, interview, meet, and I get the job. And the first day of my job, I drive down there, first day of practice, October 15th. So I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. I don't know any of the players. I don't know anything.
Wow.
All the seniors, now this is a small Division III, all the seniors on the team were older than me. So and on top of that, the head coach, coach by the name of Bob Burke, who recently passed away, was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because he was a hard-nosed Bobby Knight type of coach.
Cussing up a storm.
Yes. Players, assistant coaches, doesn't matter, you would get it. Yeah. And there were some days where it got really bad for me. But what it did was it taught me how to learn how to recruit at the small college level. It taught me so many different things on how to be an effective coach, from recruiting to practice to everything. Like I had to mature very quickly at the age of 22. And it was rough, Wow. Small colleges. Like I had one golf shirt that had to last me the whole weekend. By the end of that first weekend, that white golf shirt was brown and black and sweat and everything else. Yeah. Oh, it was rough. But man. It was a tremendous experience, and I learned so much from him, and ended up working for his son. His son was one of the seniors on the team at the time, so he and I developed a good relationship. And Rob is now the head coach at Chowan University, and so he kind of followed in his father's footsteps, and now he's taking that program over, and it's just one of those things where I got thrown into the fire, and or I'll say thrown into the deep end, and had to figure out how to swim and keep from drowning, and it really taught me a lot.
Man, that's crazy. From the age of 4 or 5.
Yeah,
you said 4 or
People
5.
say I want to be basketball player.
Yeah,
who says I want to be a basketball coach? What made you fall in love with coaching?
I've always loved I'll say like the chess match that goes on, and the back and forth, and trying to figure out how to take advantage of another team's weaknesses, and try to figure out their strengths and how to take those things away, and drawing up plays. Like I can remember in 4th or 5th grade, I'm drawing up plays for recess in our football team. just little things like that. And like, my dad took over my middle school team. And so I'm trying to draw up plays for our middle school team. And so it was always I would always see the game that way. And it was seeing the game from a coach's perspective and not so much, a player's perspective. And it allowed me to pick things up faster, and, being able to do things that way really helped me with scouting reports, because, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't, the quickest, biggest, strongest, but I could understand a scouting report. I could see what teams were doing, and I could put myself in the right position on the court to where I maybe looked a little bit faster than I was because I was in the right
Your
position.
IQ. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So, and that took me, from Chowan College, went back to New Jersey, went back and forth, and then got an assistant coaching job at Greensboro College in North Carolina. And then I went to work for Rob Burke at Spartanburg Methodist Junior College in South Carolina. And then, it's, you talk about building relationships. One of the assistant coaches I worked with at Chowan, I did 2 years at Chowan. The second year, this assistant coach ends up becoming an assistant coach at North Carolina A&T. And so they end up having a coaching opening while I'm in Spartanburg. And, the funny thing about that is I'm supposed to try and track down the head coach, and, at the Final Four is a big time to meet with coaches. So I'm running around and everything, and I finally meet with them. And, after the Final Four, I know I'm going to get the job. And the coach tells me, so he's going to call me at 3:00 on whatever day. So he calls me at 3:00. And as soon as I pick up the phone, he says, "Scott, call me right back in 5 minutes." So I'm expecting this big call, and I get the call, and it's call me back.
Oh my God.
So, I end up spending 7 years at North Carolina A&T, working for Jerry Eves, who played at Louisville, won a national championship there, played under Denny Crum, who recently passed away. And
so that's the HBCU, right? Is A&T's the HBCU, right?
Yep, over in Greensboro. And it was a great experience for me there. Just, the A&T is a tremendous university, great place for kids to go to school. And the experience working for Coach Eves was great because, he taught me a lot about life lessons, and, how to manage money. And he was more worried about developing our players off the court than on the court. And
wow. Yeah.
Towards the end of our time there, and this is what kind of put me in the position I'm in now, is as I'm going through the recruiting process with parents and players. Now we're talking to kids when they're seniors in high school. They have no idea what it takes to become eligible to play Division I basketball. Have all the talent in the world, but then you get their transcript and you look at it and it says they have a 3.2 GPA, and they're great players, but the SAT score isn't there. Or you take away the classes that don't matter to the NCAA, like gym classes and music and things like that. Then that GPA isn't a 3.2, it's about a 2.7. And when you don't have the test score, now you have to have that hard conversation with parents saying, you know what, we'd love to recruit you, but you're not going to make it academically.
Man.
And
I know that's a tough conversation.
It's rough. Because the kid has this dream of playing at the highest level, has all the talent to do it, but they don't have the grades. And by the time we get to them, it's too late.
Man.
And then, I only had one player that I recruited that had a low GPA, and he needed over 1,000 on the SAT to be eligible, and he got it. He was smart as can be, just lazy.
Okay.
So, he had what it took to to play at that level and just lazy academically, but smart as could be. And oh, you need a 10-20? Okay, I'll get that.
Wow.
And yeah.
He just did it. Yeah, wow.
But not everybody's like that.
Correct.
You know, and when that pressure's on, they don't have that ability to get it done academically.
Man, so that conversation in itself, a lot of people they think, all right, you know, do D1 as long as I have above a 2.3, you know, GPA, you know, I can handle the rock and I'm good. You know, I go to all the different camps, people recognize me, all this kind of stuff. Then, you know, I should be good to go being a C student. So you're telling me that is not the case at the D1 level, that they're looking at a full package of players a lot of times.
Right. And what happened now, actually, the NCAA just got rid of the SAT and ACT, so that you don't have to worry about that anymore. So
wow,
it's just, which is a huge thing, because that was always a problem with, you know, they would say, you know, it was culturally biased. You know, there's a lot of things that they would say that the tests weren't favorable to, you know, certain groups of people. You know, where you grew up and
ethnicity, so background, race, all those things. Yep.
So they got rid of the standardized test. So now you just have to have the core GPA. So they have a whatever that is, and you know, I think it's whatever the standard is. I think it might be a 2.5.
Okay.
I'll definitely look that up, but I think it's around 2.5 for Division I. So you know, it's taking a lot of pressure off in that area, but you still have to get the work done in the classroom.
Yeah, but then but catch-22, right? So they take the pressure off in that area, and I know we'll get to this, you know, but then now the transfer portal is open, right? So it's it's like, okay, yeah, all right, well, you got the grades, but we'll rather take this 20-year-old that's transferring and proven than take you right out of high school. Talk about what that has done to, well, before we go there, I don't want to go too much in the weeds yet. I want to get there. So as you're at NC State, right? Not NC State, A&T. You were there for 7 years, and then you made another transition. Talk about that transition.
So that transition was interesting because I would say from 1994 to 2012, I did basketball camps, worked them, recruited. So my summers were full. And then we got let go at A&T, and summer of 2012, I had nothing on my plate. And I was like, man, this is all right. I like having a summer. And, you know, I was really, really burnt out. And, you know, the only camp I went to that summer was the last weekend. And I'm sitting there, and it's in, I think it was Newman College in Philadelphia, outside of Philadelphia. And I see all these coaches walking in like zombies. And I'm like, man, I don't miss this right now. So from there, the following spring and summer, I was able and blessed to work with Chris Paul and his organization out of Winston-Salem. So working with Team CP3 and being a part of that family, and you know, that experience was amazing. Being able to coach players at you know, high level high school players. And the best part about it was I could go to these events and we would play our games and I could leave. And I didn't have to sit in the gym for 12 hours just watching games all day. Like, we'd coach, we'd play our games, and we'd leave. And it was great, you know. And being able to coach kids at that high level was very rewarding, to be, to be a part of their lives in certain aspects, and, see the talent that they have at such a young age. And, now you see some of them playing on TV, and it was really, really fun just to say that you could be a part of someone's life that, made it to all the way to the highest level. So then from there, I started doing these camps. So it was one of those things where I had this vision in my head of, talking to parents about this whole recruiting process. And these camps fell into my lap. And one of the guys that was running it said, he wants to do like an educational thing. I was like, man, I got this. I've been waiting for this one.
Yeah.
And the first camp we did was in Chicago, and he has this guy come out and talk to everybody, and he's got this notepad, and he's like kind of fumbling through the notes and everything. And I'm like, man, I got to kick this guy off. Like, I need to talk. So he finally gets done, and then I hop on and I do my thing. And I'm like, you know what, this is it.
Yeah.
So, now I've been blessed to be, with the AAU Select Tour, and I forget how many years I've been doing it with them, maybe 7 years now. And it's been great just being able to go and talk to the parents about this whole process. And now, doing, setting up some workshops for players and parents to show them how to navigate through the recruiting process. So it's been really, really fun, trying to build something from scratch, as you guys know, starting small and really trying to build something up into really a helpful tool for everybody that's going through this recruiting process.
Yeah. Now talk to us about the AAU Select camp that you have. Tell us a little bit about it, how it came about, and kind of what your aim is for that.
So the director is Devin Seaford. His dad, Rod Seaford, was a big time AAU guy in the Charlotte area. He ran the Charlotte Royals for a long time. They were a powerhouse AAU program in the, I'd say, late 90s, early 2000s. Probably maybe mid 90s through the 2000s. They were really, really big time program. And his dad, Rod, held high positions with AAU. And, the first person I worked with was, he's running his camps, and then Devin was doing all the videos for him. And then this guy kind of stepped away, and then Devin was able to take over. And, it was one of those things where you're trying to build up something. And, we finally, this is probably the 7th year that we're doing, 7th, 8th year under the AAU Select Tour name, where we're now building up that steam and building up that reputation of running quality camps. And, you guys had a chance to see our camps last year. And, it's one of those things where we're here to help kids that have probably never been to a camp like that before. Some kids have been to those types of showcase camps, and others, this is their first time. So they don't know what to expect. They don't know how to play in those types of camps. And that's it. Camp basketball and team basketball is so much different. Learning how to get your own shot off, learning how to play with kids you don't know. It's crazy because kids don't play pickup ball anymore.
No.
And, I saw this.
Yeah.
Right. I saw this video somebody posted from Trenton, New Jersey, at a park on like a Saturday morning. It was empty. And it's like, growing up, like that park on a Saturday morning would be packed.
Yep.
And so kids don't know how to play, just pick up, or they don't know how to play and work with other kids. So doing this type of camp gets them a little bit more comfortable with that. And so if they go to different camps, they'll understand how to play with kids they don't know, how to work off the ball. And little things like that make a big difference when you go somewhere and there might be some coaches there. You might be getting evaluated by some different coaches, and or you're recording these games and it shows how you can play, in an open concept, and you're not just standing around, calling for the ball at the 3-point line. You're passing and moving, and little things along the line like that make a big difference. So just really getting kids comfortable to play in that. And then the educational side, where I can talk to the players and more so the parents, because as you guys know, very few parents have been through the recruiting process themselves, or they've, had a child go through that process.
Yeah.
So, the camp we did in Virginia probably had close to 180 kids, maybe 5 to 10 parents have been through that process before. So many parents, this is a whole new ball game for them. So now that, I've been able to talk to the parents, on developing these workshops and everything. So my reach will be able to, I'll be able to reach more parents and families through these workshops as they continue to grow.
Love it.
Now let me ask you, as a coach, say you're at one of these camps, you're recruiting a kid. This kid is in grade 11, 12. And I know you kind of gave some of the insights already. What are you looking for in a kid? Because a lot of these dads, they're telling or parents, let's just say parents, they're telling their kids something totally different from what the coach is looking for. What are you specifically looking for? And what would make you say, you know what, that kid right there is somebody that I want to give an opportunity to come play at whatever college you are?
So the first and the easiest thing that it can help you stand out is your effort and how hard you play. So, I can honestly remember kids, when I was working with CP3, we pretty much have our team set. And then there's this one kid that's just all over the place, whose energy is off the charts. And it's like we have to keep this kid. He's not the best kid by any stretch, but he just outworks everybody. And now this kid will, you put him in the game if your team's energy is bad, and he changes like the whole chemistry, the energy, everything about that team. It just changes like that. So being able to bring that energy, playing with a motor, coaches, refer to having a motor as a skill now, playing hard. Kids don't do it all the time. You play so many games nowadays that you don't learn how to play hard all the time. So that's the easiest thing you can do, is just go out there and outwork somebody. Then, from obviously you have to have some type of skill as far as ball handling, being able to make shots. You can shoot the ball, that's another easy thing. Learn how to shoot the ball the right way. So as soon as that ball hits your hands, your feet are down, you're ready to shoot the ball. You're not wasting time. What you're going to do with the ball before it even hits your hands. And if you can think the game through that way, a lot of trainers now, everything's off the dribble. All these moves are off the dribble. So when a kid catches the ball and he's open, first thing he has to do is put the ball on the floor, because he hasn't been taught how to catch and shoot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, learning how to catch and shoot hundreds of just spot up shots, and then add the shots in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast with JJ Redick, and
I love his podcast.
He said he retired because he couldn't take the off-season workouts.
Yep. Yep.
And he said every Sunday he would have to make 342 shots. And they're looking at him like, why 342? And he looks at them like they're crazy, like they don't know what he's talking about. And he runs it off, 7 spots on the floor, not 5, but 7 spots on the floor, where he'd make 20 inside the 3, 20 outside the 3. So that's 140, that's 280. And then 3 one dribble right, 3 one dribble left from each spot. So that's another, I think 21-42. So that's 322, and then he'd make 20 free throws. So that's 342 shots. And he just rips it off like that. But doing that, if you do that every day.
Oh my goodness.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, you make your mid-range jumpers, you make your threes, and you make your one dribble pull-ups, make your free throws. That will change your game tremendously.
Yes, sir.
Just the basics, working on your footwork, working on the proper footwork, going left, going right, little things like that. Coaches will look at that because that can tell you if you can get your shot off or not.
Yeah.
100%. I was just talking about that with some guys. I was a little bit late. I was at my son's. The coach is actually going to drop him off at my son's practice, and they said when Draymond Green was going against Boston in the playoffs, Draymond Green said he watched film and he was like, "Yo, Tatum and Brown can't go left and create a shot." And he said after that, that's what they played him. They pushed him to the left. And then they showed when they were playing Miami recently. Same thing. They can't create that much off of their left because whatever they practice, and I'm like, even at the elite and an elite player, because I'm not going to disrespect those guys. Those guys are a hold that, but that left right. Somebody had said, JJ Redick is only one of the few. A lot of right-handers like to go left to shoot. A lot of right-handers don't go right to shoot. And there's only a few people that will go right, that's righty, and still get their shot off. And they said JJ Redick was one of those guys that you could force him right and he'll still get his shot off. So, I'm listening to you and I'm echoing everything you say in terms of, and way more than I, you did college basketball and everything, but I love the fact that you said as a coach, you love the strategy and you're just a tactician. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the thing that I think a lot of coaches are missing is that tactician aspect. What can a coach do? What are some of the things that coaches can do? If I wanted to be a better chess player, I'd have to play whatever. What can they do? And what would you tell them? Hey, this is what you need to do in order to become a better tactician.
Honestly, just watching, not watching the guys and the plays that they're making, but watching the sets that they're running. It's a little bit harder with the NBA because they have so many different options and variables with things. Yep. And they just kind of read off of each other. But, when you look at the college level, they're, coaches really run plays, out of bounds plays, see how they defend zone offenses and see how they attack zone defenses. There's so the technology now with social media and things like that. There are so many guys that, their Instagram pages, TikTok pages, where all they do is post plays and just learning how to defend certain things. And taking the time to, put a scouting report together and watching your opponent and say, okay, so this is what they do. This is how we're going to defend that. And, teaching it the right way. So that's the other part is, the communication part of coaching is different.
Yeah.
You have to be able to communicate in a way that everybody understands what your message is.
Yeah.
And so one of my CP3 teams, I'm doing tryouts and I tell the guys, listen, if you don't understand, raise your hand, ask. If you don't understand the drill, I'll stop, I'll explain it. I don't want you guys slowing the drills up during these tryouts. And I had to cut a kid who was a He was on the fence. But I had to cut a kid because he kept screwing up the drills. Because he wouldn't ask the question, Coach, what do I have to do here? Now, I had another player, same team, who during timeouts, he did not comprehend me drawing down something on the clipboard. So after the timeout, he said, Coach, what do I need to do here? Okay, you do go here, go here, go here, and then do this. Gotcha, Coach. And he would do it. So he understood, I don't get this. Let me ask, and then I could explain it. So having coaches being able to explain what they want in different ways can really help and make them more efficient as a coach.
And being great teachers, being a teacher is understanding your pupils, right? And if you don't understand or take time to understand who your pupils are, and in this case, your players on your team, then each one of them, then it's kind of hard to make sure that communication is effective, right? I've seen coaches get frustrated because, and we've all seen this, you get in a huddle, drop a play, and the kids go out there and they don't do anything what you showed them on the huddle. Now, in one hand, you could blame the kids, but on the other hand, if that keeps happening over and over, then it's not a kid problem. It's a player problem. It's a communication problem, right?
Or practice problem.
Or practice. Problem, right?
We're not doing that play in practice ever. Now all of a sudden you draw it up on a clipboard and you think this kid is going to understand
it. So here you go. So I'm at A&T and we're playing the University of Akron. And this is a great story. So before, the Akron would run a basic screen the screener. So the shooter would go from one block to the other, set a screen for the big guy, and then one of the bigs at the top of the key would screen down for the shooter. And then the shooter would go to the top of the key for the shot. So we practice this. Okay, this is what they're going to do. This is how we defend it, everything. So we get in the game, and the big gets hit with the screen and just freezes. And then they end up getting a 3 at the top of the key. We call a timeout. We go into the huddle. The coach spends the whole huddle on the board, writing it down. This is how we defend everything. They come out of the timeout. I'm on the outside. And the kid that he's talking to the whole timeout, he walks by me and he says, man, I have no idea what coach was just talking about.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Wow. Wow. Wow.
So we walk through it, we write it down, we do everything, and he still didn't get it.
Oh man, somebody took his SATs for him, man.
So,
oh man,
sometimes you can do everything, it's just still not going to work.
Yeah. Trust. Hey, I was coaching. It's funny. Like when you coach at a smaller level and the same thing happened and you see a kid doing something, I'm like, listen, when you set a pick, you can't move. You set the pick, hold your hand and just stay there, let the guy go, right? I had this one kid, man, he thought he was moonwalking. I'm like, oh my goodness, come here, man. And no matter what you did, you could have stopped that kid from moonwalking. So I get it that there's those ones, but coaching is you have to have some patience. And like you said, you could have that burnout factor no matter how much you love it. You could burn out just for the simple fact of, you go into an organization and you have, like, say A&T. What you think, what caliber of players were coming there versus probably a Duke? Do you think what was the difference between a Duke player and a A&T player? If you had to say,
the biggest thing was their drive, their determination. Guys going to Duke, knew that they were going pro.
Yeah.
Right. Guys at A&T, had it in their mind that they thought they were going to be pros. But, playing Division I sometimes is the max for certain players. Like, man, I made it. I'm a Division I athlete. And like, man, I've made it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, the drive, the want to get better. The Duke guys are probably, you're not forcing them to get into the gym to work out. The lower level, and I won't just put on A&T, but lower level Division I, you sometimes have to pull them into the gym. Like, come on, man, like you got to work out it. And then and then they're there and they're just like they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And like one of the kids I had on one of my CP3 teams as a 15-year-old, every morning during the season, we were shooting at 6 a.m. Every day. At 15 years old, he was in the gym. We were in the gym every day.
Just wanted it.
Yeah. And I didn't have to, all right, come on, man, let's go. Let's work hard. No, it was in him. He was ready to go all the time. And, he ends up signing with Clemson at a high school. So you could see that, right? Yeah. From an early age, he just had that drive. And, low level Division I guys, not everybody has that same drive. Something's missing somewhere in that picture. They don't have the drive. They're just, it doesn't click for them somewhere along the lines. But then you have the guys where it does click.
Yeah,
man.
And they're the ones that get it, and they're the ones that are still playing now.
These guys don't understand that. Sorry, Rick. Those ick factors, and to make it to the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you have your anomaly story. Like, I think it was what's his name that played on that played on Indiana with that played with when what's his name when Paul George was over there when they were going against the tall guy. I think he didn't play ball that long. Hibbert. Right? He didn't play that long, but he was super tall. He made the team. And you could tell that he wasn't the best basketball player, but you have your anomalies. These guys love talking about Mamba mentality and don't understand what a Mamba mentality means.
Right.
Can you talk about when and you've already expressed it, but if you had a player and when you knew that he understood it, those shots in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, that guy knew that he wanted to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not even the Mamba mentality. It's just your inner determination and your want to have something. Like there's so many different sayings you can use. Everybody's got 24 hours in a day. Like, what are you doing with your time? Do you want to sleep in?
120, yeah.
Right. The 168 in a week. What are you doing with all of your time? And if you learn how to manage your time, you can do everything you want to do. You just have to manage your time right.
Yeah.
So get your shots up in the morning so you don't have to do it in the afternoon or at night.
Yes, sir.
Take care of your body so you can wake up, early enough to where you can knock your shots out. Do the little things, and the short-term sacrifice for the long-term reward. There's so many different things you can say, but it's what you want out of it and what you're willing to do that somebody else isn't. And that's really the only difference between successful people and not successful people. The successful people are going to fail more than unsuccessful people, which is a crazy thing to say.
Yeah. You're so right, man. You're so right.
But the unsuccessful people are going to stop at some point.
Yeah.
But the successful are going to keep going.
Yes,
And that's
sir.
like that's the journey. You know, failure is never final. You got to keep going.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now,
when got to keep. Yes.
When you look at and it's in that same vein of the dream, drive, discipline, diligence, right? You have Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, right? Talk about just the difference in that spread of caliber of players, and so that, and I'm trying to phrase this the right way, but let's talk about what you have seen, like a D1 player, D2 player, D3 player. Is it a skill set? Is it an academic thing? Like what separates them within those opportunities?
Sometimes kids just might get overlooked. Might not get seen right away. They may develop later. Yeah, perfect. So there's two. Duncan Robinson for the Miami Heat.
Yep.
He was a Division III player, and he transferred to Michigan. And he ended up going to Michigan, having a good career at Michigan, and then he's with the Heat. But he is, I think, the first one, because it was really, really taboo to go for a Division I to look at a Division II or look at a Division III player, because you always had to sit out, and nobody wanted to take that chance on going down to get a player. So then the next one is Derek White for the Celtics. So he was a walk-on at a Division II. Became a Division II All-American, then transferred to the University of Colorado, and then he's with the Celtics.
Wow, so, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there are kids that get overlooked, and you mentioned it earlier. The transfer portal is something that it's really going to slow down the high school recruiting process, because Division I's now can take other Division I's, one-time transfer, play right away. So you can now go to a Duke, ACC, SEC can now look at a lower level Division I kid who had a really good year and get him into his program.
Yeah.
So, Florida Atlantic, who made this huge run in the NCAA tournament, their coach was saying during the NCAA tournament that other schools were trying to steal his players.
My goodness.
While they're still playing. While they're still playing.
Wow.
Other schools are reaching out to his guys trying to get them to leave. Because, something clicked with them and they made this great run. And now, they're in the right system and they shine in that system. So now guys want them to get them to play at a higher level than Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
So, the difference between Division I, Division II, Division III, sometimes it's grades. Grades play a factor in that you might not be eligible to play Division I, so you can go Division II. And same thing, you might not be eligible to play Division II, so you have to go to Division III. But what I'm telling people now is you just get in the college, period.
Yeah.
Division I, if you're not a Division I ball player right now, that's fine. Get in the college. Start getting your grades together.
Yeah.
So once we get in the college, prove yourself at the college level. Whether it's Division III, Division II, because you go into a Division III program and you average 12 to 14 points a game as a freshman, you can probably get yourself a Division II scholarship. Because you've proven you can score at the college level, you can do things well at the college level. Now somebody might want to take a chance on it. And same thing with Division II going up to Division I. Let's get ourselves into college and prove yourself there.
I like that.
And here's the biggest part of it all. with Division II. So I don't know if you guys understand how the scholarships work for Division I, Division II, Division III. All right.
Full ride versus.
Yep, partial scholarships and no scholarships. So Division I, everything's paid for. I offer you a scholarship at North Carolina A&T. Everything's paid for. Room, board, tuition, book, the whole deal covered. Okay. Division II, so you guys are in the DC area, like Bowie State. Trying to think of some other ones up there. I know Bowie State off the top of my head. So they're Division II. So if I'm coaching there and I offer a scholarship, I'm allowed 10 full scholarships. Most schools don't have 10. They may have anywhere from 5 to 7 full scholarships, but I can spread that out amongst my team.
Okay.
Here's where, having those great grades comes into play, because we have a 4.0 GPA. You have a really high test score that you need to get into college.
Yeah.
And, Bowie State says, you know what, we're going to give you, $12,000 on a $20,000 scholarship. You get your Pell Grant, which is another $5,000. So you're now looking at $17,000 on a $20,000 tuition. I can say as a coach, you know what, $3,000 easy.
Yeah.
Three out of that full, I can do that. That's easy. But if it's the other way around and the grades aren't good, and you're just getting that Pell Grant, and I got to come out of my pocket another 15, 13,000, whatever that may be, man, I really got to like you.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Big difference.
Yep.
Big difference.
I knew that from recruiting duty. Rico recruiting. So when that kid tell me like, yeah, I got a scholarship to go to a school. So I was always just leaving that kid like, oh, you got a scholarship. Then my boss is like, you know how scholarships work? And I was like, yeah, you got a scholarship, you go to school. He goes, no, go check out the scholarships, especially if these guys are, or I'm going on a full, if it's not an academic scholarship and they're saying they're going on a sports scholarship, go look at it. And I was looking at it and I'll be like, oh, bro, you ain't getting no money.
Right. Big difference.
Wow.
And, and then for Division III, it's just academic and financial aid. So, and that's where you will actually get kids where, the hunger to play sports is there. You get some hardworking kids, at that level, but something's just missing at that level.
Yeah.
For one reason or another, something's missing. But that's the big difference. And now with this transfer portal, Division II and Division III is going to be the option for a lot of kids. So that's where I'm saying, let's have these great grades. So you might be able to get that walk-on position out of Division II. Just because the school is going to offer you so much money that it's affordable. If you don't have a full scholarship, you're getting majority of it paid for. So now we can work with something.
Yeah.
And then again, if I'm a coach and I have to come out of my pocket $3,000 to $5,000, you know what, I might be able to do that. Or I can do 2,000 where you only have to pay maybe 3,000. So let's use as much as we can to get that tuition paid for.
Yeah.
It's a chess game.
Yeah,
it's a chess game for the parents, especially if you just, because everybody thinking that you played basketball very well, you're gonna get a full scholarship, they're gonna pay for your whole college. Go ahead, son. Go ahead, daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Man, I was talking to some of my friends I played high school ball with, and the player of the year in our conference, who we thought was a really high level player, only went to a low Division I college. And I'm like, man, like now that I've been out of the game and I've coached at that level, I'm like, this is where he went. Like he was supposed to be the guy, and nothing against, that university. But I was like, man, he just went there.
Dang.
So as good as we thought we were, and he was a better player than us, this is where he went. You know, and again, no disrespect to him or anything, but like we put certain guys at such a high level, but they're only going to certain colleges. And, you know, we've got to change our focus and really put it on the academics so we can give ourselves the best option to do whatever we want to do, go wherever we want to go, and have those options scholarship wise, to where now it's that chess match of who's going to offer what and what we can do on our end to make it work.
Yeah.
Man, now, Ricky, don't disrespect me ever again with the Ricky only mentioned Division 1, 2, and 3. I play LA Fitness, Division 4, baby.
No, junior college is Division 4, man. Junior college is Division 4. And then you can say yourself.
Hey,
there's some legends. There's some legends at LA Fitness now.
Yeah. Marlon get his plaque on the wall, LA Fitness in the local area.
I want to change that picture. You know, the picture on the wall with the guy doing the layup. I want it to be.
Here, sign up for a lifetime membership. You could get it.
You can start a trend and start doing a Player of the Month plaques there.
There you go.
Right next to the Employee of the Month, you can do the Player of the
Month. Man, people be holding that deer too. I promise you.
Right.
Would. Yeah.
Yes, they would.
So, Scott, one thing I want you to help us with as well, and just sharing, you know, as you're associated with the whole AAU circuit, with the program that you guys, the camps that you guys put on, you know, outside of the AAU seasons. Talk to us about just that journey of just AAU, what it means. And AAU's been around since, I mean, early, for years. What was it? I was reading it earlier today. It was like, oh my goodness.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been years. I just had it. I just had it. Oh, here it is right here, actually. Oh, wow. I didn't realize I still had it right in my, it said 1888 AAU. Wow.
What?
The Amateur Athletic Union, commonly known as AAU, was founded in 1888. I was like,
whoa,
wow. I didn't know.
I didn't
realize that. I didn't realize
Wilt Chamberlain was playing in.
They said that most NBA players have played in AAU, has gone through that route, right? And of course, as you have seen it expand and grow, even today, you know, you have your EYBLs, you have your Under Armour leagues. I think that was called like I forget the Under Armour league is called, and you guys know. But
I think that's the Under Armour Rise.
Yeah, Under Armour Rise,
and then Adidas is the Three Stripes.
Yeah, and Adidas Streets. Like talk about even that aspect of the journey with as players are growing and developing, because as Marlon and I, we've seen you start at that rec ball level, maybe a little travel team, and then you say, oh, let me go into the AAU circuit. And then it's like, oh, and now there's another elite level of AAU, even within that whole program. Let's talk about, I know we're almost at time, but talk about what that journey looks like and how that could be beneficial, or even the pros and cons that people need to watch for as their children are developing through those circuits.
So not every program that is on the Nike circuit or Under Armour or Adidas is affiliated with AAU. Mm-hmm. So, you know, AAU it's an organization. It's, you know, Amateur Athletic Union, so it's kind of a unionish style to it. But so not all of those programs are affiliated with AAU. And AAU's been around so long, and it's become branded in our heads that travel ball is AAU. So not every, you know, the EYBL is not affiliated with AAU. Gotcha. It's their own circuit.
In that old Nike.
AAU, yes,
Nike,
so
Nike circuit.
Yeah, Nike. So they're doing like their own thing. So AAU does their own thing. They have their own championships. And then Nike has their own championships. And then Under Armour kind of fell in line, and so did Adidas, doing their own separate thing. And, what I found is, programs, if they have their own thing that they're good for, so smaller programs are only going to go to a certain level, and you're going to max out at a certain level. There's only so much a local program can do. Now, once you hit that level, that's it. You're only going to get so much exposure. You can only do so much for your kids. It's a sad reality, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You can think that, you're going to start these kids and we're going to be together all the way through high school. Some kids are going to fall off and that team's just not going to be the same. But then there are some programs where they do stick together. And if they are good enough, and then here's where you can benefit from those Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. If you are good enough as a program, you can get picked up by one of those programs. So with the CP3 program, we took some programs and put them under the CP3 umbrella, and they were using a CP3 name. So then their exposure got better. And then we could take, the team that already exists and put one or two pieces onto that team that's good. And now we can make them great by adding one or two pieces. So if you do have a small program, that has some younger players and they're really starting to grow and develop, and you know what, man, like we might have a chance. So find one of these sneaker programs, one of these shoe programs, and see if you can fall under their umbrella. And then that's a way where you won't hit that ceiling as an organization, because you have so much talent. Instead of, if you have 5 or 6 kids who can really play at 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, man, you know what, let's contact this organization, see if we can fall in line with them, and now we can build from there. So, if you're not fortunate enough to have those types of kids, if you have 1 or 2, unfortunately, you're going to end up losing them at some point. Because, if you want them to succeed, you have to let them go. And if they can make one of those programs, you have to let them get there.
Yeah.
And, if your goal is to just develop them to that point, then that's what your goal is. And you have to accept that. And you know what? Let's start over again. Let's raise another group. And you have that you can hang your hat on is, my organization has developed these kids and they've gone on to play with this program. And now that program got them into college, but they started here.
Yeah.
So you can be like almost like a feeder system for some of these bigger programs, but you have to be able to accept that, and you have to be able to accept I might not be able to keep this kid all the way through because he has to play at a higher level because he's that type of player.
Man, that's a good answer, man. That's a really good answer. I and you taught me a lot even in what you just described there.
Yeah,
I'm real new to this whole. I just see the names, I see the brands, and I'm just like, oh, okay, this and that, and you see some kids are playing with this team, that team, and then you see whole organizations join under, like you said, a sneaker league. I never heard it said that way, but I was like, yeah, it is a sneaker, right? The Adidas sneaker league, right? Team. Yeah. So no, that's awesome. And then as we're like kind of coming to the end here, why don't you share anything you want to announce of anything you got going on? People can reach out to you. People can be a part of camps, things of that nature. or just that process, website, things of that nature? Why don't you share that with them now?
Sure. We haven't announced it yet, but we're putting our camps together. So the website for our camps is aauselecttour.com. And that has will have all of the camps from basically our first camp is going to be July 30th up in New Jersey. And then our last camp is probably going to be in mid-October. We haven't figured out our last spot yet, but we're working on that. So we do have, I think Columbus Day weekend is in Houston, Texas. So we're going pretty much every weekend. We go from basically Boston down to Florida and over to Texas and pretty much everywhere in between. And it is a grind for about 3 months of just every weekend we're rolling. And for me, I'm still working on a few things, but my brand that I have is called Sports to Your Future. You can find me on Instagram. I was just trying to put some content together, but my big thing is, and what I've told parents, and it's kind of stuck, is, there's a college or a program out there that needs you. They just don't know it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to learn how to reach out to those schools. And like my story at the beginning of just reaching out to all these colleges to find a job, it's the same thing. As a college coach, I have to recruit 100 kids at each position to get one kid to say yes. So if we flip it, as a player, I have to send my stuff out to hundreds and hundreds of schools just to get that one school to say yes.
Yep.
And you've got to send and send and send and send. I've got, emails already put together, just generic emails to send out to colleges to help get your stuff out there. But there's a lot of different ways to get your stuff out there. And you can go to my Instagram page or email sportstoyourfuture at gmail.com. Any way you want to reach out to me, I'm here, and I'm just here to help.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So if a parent, right before we leave, if a parent received like how my son received, I thought he was special, but they received that letter that says, "Hey, you're invited to come down to select." What's that selection process, and how special should that child feel?
For our camp?
Yeah, for your camp.
That letter? Okay, so that goes out to AAU members.
Okay.
So, if you're a part of like a Nike program, that's not affiliated with AAU, then you're not going to get invited to our camp. So it's strictly for AAU members. So it is something that they should feel good about. And, again, being able to be a part of something that you've never done before and learning how to go through that process, it's a great experience for a lot of kids.
Yep, my son loved it. I could vouch for it. My son loved it, and he learned a lot about himself on that day.
Yeah, and you may find out you're not as good as you think you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep, absolutely, man. Well, hey, Scott, man, this has been great catching up with you. Thank you so much for sharing your story, your insight. Man, it's just been a true pleasure. There's so much information that you shared with us today, and I encourage all of our listeners to rewind, write notes, send this to any parent that is trying to. Rewind, right? I'm so back in the 80s.
Use your finger and pull the.
Yeah, pull back. Just go back, re-listen, I should say. Watch again. That's what they call it, right? Watch again now. And get all the nuggets that have been shared today. Share it with other parents that you may know, coaches that you may know, because this is a wealth of knowledge. Go and follow Scott on his platforms, and hopefully you get a chance to have your child come out to one of the camps, because I know that Marlon and I will definitely be participating again this year.
Send questions so we can have Scott back on. If you have specific questions, send them up. And I'm sure Scott would be willing to entertain us to come back on and speak to those different questions that you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed it. And, even if you're not AAU members, they can still register for the camp on our website. They can, just join. I think they'll have to join AAU, but it's only like I think maybe $15-$16 membership right now. So,
correct.
So just go ahead and do that and, get the experience of, what we have to offer at our camps.
Love it. Well, travelers, with that, we would thank you guys for joining us again for another episode of the Success Journey Show. We'll see you guys next week at the same time, same place, right here at the Success Journey Show. Everyone have a good one. Peace.
One love.
You've been listening to the Success Journey Show, where your dreams, drive, determination, and diligence are the foundation to success. For more information, check out thesuccessjourneyshow.com. The Journey Squad is here helping you to your destination.